Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I really hope you have a wonderful day. I'm having a wonderful morning because we had an immense tropical storm that passed the island within a few kilometers. And in fact, I heard it was a hurricane. And we have just had an ordinary storm. So I marvel at the power of nature and I marvel at the power of energy. And it really ties in very well what I would like to talk to about today, and that is many of the misconceptions that people have about a numerology reading, that it is psychic, that it is fortune telling. But no, numerology really is an energy reading, because everything in the universe is energy. And numerology is almost like the language of numbers. And unlike mathematics, which is really about the physical way that the universe is created, numerology is like its mystical counterpart. It's a language of understanding the mystical information, the mystical energy of your life. And so your date of birth and your name, it's like a snapshot that was taken when you were born about the energies that govern your life, the potentials that were given you. And many people have said to me, but it feels so limiting that I have to struggle against this pattern that I came in with, almost like you cannot do anything with it. And nothing can be further from the truth. Because once you look at the energy that is at play in your life and you understand it, you can work through it and you can transmute it. In fact, that is very much the purpose of a numerology reading. As once you understand circumstances and you can see through it, you can change it. I put a post on Facebook the other day that said, wisdom is not just seeing things, but seeing through things. And we know in quantum science that when you observe something, it changes. And a very great man who I really honor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that is very much what I teach and what I share in my numerology, is that once you see the forces that are governed in your life, what karmic patterns, often you can see the contracts that you've made, the challenge that you've come to overcome, the life path, the goals, the highest potential of your life has been set out in that energy reading for you to work with. And I often also say to clients, for those of you who believe in reincarnation, when we pass over, so many people who have had near-death experiences talk about having this life review with your gods and your angels, your angelic guidance, the guides that work with you. And you look at your life and see what was the potential for that life, what did you do, what didn't you do, and often it's very much about understanding and experiencing how other people experience the way you treat them, and what are the potentials that you have missed. And when you come into your next life, you set out, okay, I want to be more compassionate. I want to overcome the substance abuse that I didn't manage to overcome in my past life. So it's almost like the decisions that were taken in that life review before you came down is given to you when you can embrace a higher consciousness, when you can think about things in a different way. And you can understand that everything is given you as tools to reach your higher potentials. Then you will get the most benefit out of a numerology reading. And there are many ways to look at your future life cycles, the goals that you've set up for yourself, the highest potential that you've set up. For example, our life is divided into 4 major cycles, and a numerologist can understand what the numbers of those cycles are. And it is the energy and the vibration of that number that draws to you the people, the places, the experience, and the potentialities for you to fulfill what you have set out with your guidance, with your higher self, to reach in those cycles. Now, if you have an understanding of what that vibration is and the symbolic meaning of that, the potentials, what the things that you need to overcome, what is the highest intention you set for those cycles, then you can really work with it. Or for example, if you have a difficult vibrations, for example, one of the karmic debt numbers is 14-5. If you work out and you understand that you have going through a 14-5 cycle, then you can understand that this cycle you are challenged with the senses, you are challenged with the responsible use of freedom. And then you might say, oh, now I understand why I am battling to stop smoking. Now I understand why I am struggling with substance abuse. It is a karmic pattern that I brought in from past lives, and that the challenge was set for me to overcome this so that I could go into true freedom, understanding the true freedom of life, and that substances and patterns don't lock me in, that I can transcend that. And so when you are just a limited consciousness being and you are unconscious, these forces are at play in your life and go about in a natural fashion. And you would sometimes almost feel that you've been taken by the ocean to this side and that side and knocked about. But when you raise your consciousness and you understand that these vibrations are at work, you can start co-creating, transmuting, and changing this and taking control of a large portion of your life by changing the way you look at things, and you find that the things you look at change. Also starting to work with energy and changing your beliefs, because it is those true unconscious beliefs that perpetuate certain cycles. If you just feel I have no control over the substance that I'm taking, or I'm eating too much, I've got bulimia, or I cannot control my impulses, then you feel at the mercy of these vibrations. When you understand that those vibrations were put there to overcome certain things, and you have understanding how they can be transmuted by raising your consciousness, by embracing your life, by accepting it, and by working with it, you can change. So there is nothing to say that these vibrations are to govern your life. No, it's for you to understand them, to get the keys of how to change them, to see the potentials that you've set for yourself. Numerology is just a guide. It doesn't have the know-all of your whole life, or it doesn't set any limits for you. But it does give you an indication what were the goals and objectives that were set for your life. And once you have that clarity, that eagle-eye vision of what was planned for your life, you can work with it, transcend with it, and take it to the next level. What I've often found is that people who come to me, it's almost like they've gone through a death and a rebirth, because I don't know if you found it, but it feels like you have lived several lives in one life. And that is the power of this time, the magic of this time, is that you can change your contracts. You can have a rebirth in this life if only your consciousness is open to it, and if you have a greater understanding of your purpose and the power you have to change the situation that you are in. So it's just for me a wonderful day, an amazing way of seeing how energy can change, and of deep gratitude that we have peace and harmony on the island instead of destruction, pain and chaos. And I do believe that we have the power to change those potential destructive things in our lives by changing the way we think of it, by surrendering to your higher self, and by working and changing your life for the better. We have the power. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.